Hello and welcome to today's love lesson. Today's love lesson is actually a question I received recently from a client, and it's how does my beliefs affect my relationship? And I love this question. And what can I do about it? I love this question because this is actually a multi-layer question, because beliefs can be what you believe spiritually. It can be belief, could be what you just believe is the natural order of things, and so on and so forth. So your beliefs actually play a huge role in your relationships and in yourself. I there's there's a lot of things that can go into that when it comes to a belief in a relationship. It can affect how whether or not you're willing to go the distance. It can affect if you're willing to even give it a shot when it comes to another person. So I have found that because of beliefs, it can either hurt you or help you. So it can either, and it's not to say religion is going to hurt or help you, but I've seen it happen for both, where there could be a really great partner for you, but you're not willing to or open to it because maybe they don't believe the same things you believe in, whether that's spiritually, religion, or with just every day, right? So we have a lot of people when it comes to politics, right? That is a belief where people become very sensitive on, if you believe in this, well then you must be this type of person. So I can't be with you. I can't be with someone who is that type of person or believes those things. So a lot of people putting beliefs is actually, you end up putting labels on people and putting people into boxes. And that's not the best way to be. If you want to have real connection to someone, you have to get to know that person. You have to be open to that person, how they are. Their beliefs could be all over the board. And most people, yes, you have your beliefs and you have your core values, but those things do change on some level. Those opinions, right? The things that you once believe in, you may not always believe in. You may change. And I love when two opposites come together, because you really bring so much to the table for each other. You help to open each other's eyes. And if you can do that in a loving way, it's a really great way to find the win-win for everybody, and it's a great way to open up yourself even more. So your beliefs can hurt you, and they can also help you. So it just depends on which choice you want to make and what you're open to. And I always am an advocate for staying open. I'm an advocate for staying open-minded, with an open heart, and then not making a choice whether something's bad or good, just letting it unfold. Worrying is a waste, and faith is fear. So coming to this conclusion, I have been going through quite a bit this past week, over a week, and where I find myself going back and forth between worrying and then faith. And even if you're not religious, I still feel like this can play a part. Even if you're not spiritual, this can still play a part in your life, especially when it comes to dating. Now, what I'm going through is not with dating. I have a loved one in the hospital, and so that has a bit of stress to it. And you worry, right? You worry about them. And then for me, I go back to that faith of, okay, trusting God, trusting, this path. So when it comes to worrying, and a lot of people do this in relationships, dating, marriage, in your life, where you worry, and it is a waste. I love that quote that says that worrying is a waste of imagination. And it's so true. There are other things you should be spending your time thinking about. And worrying about how something is going to play out, worrying about that you're still single and you don't have somebody, worrying about where your marriage is going. It's such a place to be that is not helpful, and it's a waste of your time. Worrying is a waste of your time. Faith faith can be very fierce. In fact, faith is fierce. Like having faith in the process, having faith in yourself, knowing that you can get through things. So even if you're not religious or spiritual, having faith in yourself is huge. Having faith in that things do play out is huge. It really adds something to it. So maybe you're not, if you're single and you're worrying about that you don't have somebody, this could be a situation where you can stop and think, okay, if you're religious, having that faith in God, having that faith in how things play out, and really and truly that things do work themselves out. And so maybe it's not tomorrow that you're in a relationship, but maybe you find a great partner 20 years from now. It all works. Like, enjoy your life. Don't worry. Everything, there's someone out there for everyone. And multiple people, actually, I think. So when it comes to, say, marriage or a committed relationship, worrying where something goes, and that can cause a lot of strife in your relationship, in your marriage. And it's just not something that's helpful. It's hurtful. So then that comes back to faith. So if you are faith-based, coming back to God, coming back to your relationship and the relationship with God within that relationship. It's a lot of relationships right there. So, and that can be very helpful. That can be very soothing, and that can bring you peace and the answers you need. And maybe there's not an answer that needs to be answered today. So it comes when it's supposed to come. And if you're not someone who's religious or spiritual, having that faith in yourself, having that faith that things will work out in your best interests and your highest good, I think is really helpful. So even if you're not someone who's faith-based or spiritual, that you can still, faith plays a part on some form. It's just a word, right? So it still plays a part in your life, and not needing to worry about something, worry about where something's going, but be in that moment, spread the love, be that love and light, and you'll help yourself, you'll help the situation, and, save, when you cross that bridge, right? Because it's fear, that's what's coming up for you, is the fear, whether it's fear of being alone, or fear of something ending, fear of something beginning. It's all fear. That's where worry comes from. So if you start to really think about what you're fearful of, and then kind of be in there, right? So admit to yourself what you're fearful of, and then be with it. And then see the options. I love options. I think having options and listing them out is a great way to start to go, oh, okay, this is how things can be, this is how things could play out. And so that way you're not worrying, you're not just constantly in your head thinking, you are actually being constructive with that worry. So that's just a little tip for if you still worry, but you want to go somewhere with it. List out the options, list out the possibilities, and then let it be. You still always show up, you still always do your work. So if you're faith-based like myself, spiritual, then you know that, we are co-creators with God. So if you're a co-creator, that means you still have the free will, you still have things that you need to do in order to get something, in order to achieve. So if you're single and you are looking for someone, you still have to show up. Yes, you have faith that your person is coming, but also know you still have to show up. And know that if you're tired, say from dating, and take a break. Like, there's no big deal. In fact, actually, that's usually where you meet someone, is when you let it go and you're just enjoying it, enjoying your time, doing something you love, is usually actually when you meet somebody. You'll meet someone unexpectedly. And that's one of my favorite things. I just love when people meet people, when you're like, oh, I went to the grocery store, I didn't have any makeup on, it was a crappy day, and there they were. So I love those stories of people meeting unexpectedly. You come together unexpectedly, because that's usually how it is, and it's the best surprise. So for sure, no, just let it go. Worry is wasteful. So, and faith is fierce. So stick to the faith, whatever that faith may be for you, and yeah, lean into that. Another part of forgiveness. So usually forgiveness is involved with ourselves or with somebody else when maybe they have done something that we didn't like, when maybe they've hurt us. And another part of forgiveness is when someone means well and they still hurt. There's something about it where it just rubs you the wrong way. You get aggravated, you get angry, you get frustrated, you get defensive. All these things that can come up, triggers, when someone does something, when yes, they mean well, but for whatever reason, it rubbed you the wrong way. And forgiveness is involved. And I'll use my own experience. I'm going through quite a bit right now. My mom is in the hospital. She's in the ICU. And this is really challenging. My mom is, she's my favorite person in the world, to be honest. So when some people want to go out, I want to hang out with my mom. So I'm very close with my mom. I love my mom so much. Like a lot of people, they love their moms. And for me, my mom is the person I hang out with the most. So it's really challenging. And if you know my mom, Catherine Flanagan Stover, she's known as Queen of Nantucket, Queen Catherine, you know that she is strong. She is strong-willed. She is the rock. She moves mountains. And a little background on my mom. My mom, she's a walking, talking miracle. She was born spina bifida. She wasn't supposed to walk, and she walked. So she was told, don't have kids. She had 7. She had 52 tumors in each lung 22 years ago, and she was told, make your arrangements, you're going to die. And she was like, nope, not happening. Too much things that I want to accomplish, want to do in this world, and she figured it out. Went to a naturopath, a lot of natural healing that just Western doctors couldn't provide, and that Eastern doctors were able to provide. So my mom's incredible. My mom moves mountains. She literally is a walking, talking miracle. So right now when she's going through what she's going through, it's challenging to really see. It's challenging to really see someone you love hurt. It's challenging to see someone where you every day I'm surrendering because it's not up to me. It's on the outcome. So that's really hard. And it's hard to see someone you love go through that and you want to take their pain away. You don't want them to be going through what they're going through. So there was one particular day where I'm sitting in the hospital room with my mom, and her eyes are closed, she's in a deep sleep, and I'm rubbing her foot. And it was a really challenging day. It really, it just depends on the day. Some days are really challenging and I'm very emotional, I'm crying the whole time, and then other days where I feel I can be positive and where I feel stronger. So this particular day, I was emotional to say the least. And I'm sitting there and I'm rubbing her feet and in and out of talking to her, and there's people always coming in and out of the room, whether it's doctors, nurses, or clergy, spiritual people, social workers, and they're all checking in on her, but also checking in on the people around her. So this particular time, a young gentleman walked in looking like Jesus. I swear to goodness, he was like a young Jesus. And he was, a spiritual person, and he was coming in to see if there's anything I needed. And at this point, I've already met a lot of people that are part of the hospital, affiliated with the hospital from different faiths. And so usually we pray and talk for a little bit and pray over my mom, which I love. I don't care what religion you are, spiritual avenue, like praying, I believe in it, let's do it. So he came in, and at this point I was crying, but I stopped when he came in because I'm trying to keep myself composed. And he came in, and he's like, just wanted to let you know I'm here for you if there's anything you need, which I really appreciated. And my eyes started to well up with tears again, and he's like, where are those tears coming from? And I wanted to smack him, to be honest, because I'm like, do you not see my mom? Do you not see the situation we're in? Like, do you not get it? Like, it's a lot. It's a lot we're going through. So yeah, where are my tears coming from? My tears are coming from the fact that my mom is laying there and I feel powerless. I didn't say this to him, but I'm like, I really don't want to say it in front of my mom. And then from there, we went on to praying. But I was really frustrated with this. I was really frustrated with someone who just didn't seem to get it. And it made me realize that people aren't going to get it. People are never actually really going to understand what you're going through. And it made me realize that I don't understand what other people are going through. Maybe you're empathetic, maybe you're sympathetic because you've gone through something similar, or you can see how their lives could be affected, but no one ever really knows. And so it made me realize that there's a forgiveness that needs to happen that we won't know, and you just hold space and be there for someone. But if you're on the other side of that, where you feel frustrated because someone doesn't understand, or you feel like someone's not there for you the way you want them to be, forgive them. They just don't know, and they could never know. They may understand because they've gone through something, but you just have to forgive and let go. So if you are going through something, know that we're prayer warriors, so send it right along. Let us know what we need to pray for. And if you can pray for my mom, Catherine Flanagan Stover, that would be amazing. She does really well with the prayers. So this love lesson this week is that other side of forgiveness and to let go. That to know that people aren't necessarily going to know what you're going through or understand it, and allow them to help in any way that you can, or just ask for what you need. Things we do to protect ourselves, and that's what it is. It's to protect ourselves. It very much happens and shows up when we're trying to protect ourselves in relationships. So we put up barriers, we put up walls, we put up ways to distance ourselves, and that could be emotionally, that could be physically, that can be just any part where you're separating yourself. And it is protection. And there is, why we do this, why we put up those walls and barriers is to protect ourselves. And there is this avenue of not getting hurt. And one of the things I love with love is that love really is the cure for everything. So that fear of getting hurt, it happens no matter what. So there's two parts to this lesson. One, knowing that you're going to get hurt on some level at some point in your life. Love has actually nothing to do with it. Love is what cures, but it's what just happens when you add in two different people or a few people, that we become hurt. We become things that we're working through, we work through them, and people bring up stuff for us. They become triggers. So we put the barrier in place to protect ourselves, but know that that's not actually really protecting you on some level. Some levels it definitely is. Like you need the barrier, you need boundaries. Boundaries are good. Boundaries are very good. When it comes to having that emotional connection with somebody, know that you can still have that with the wall, and you can still have that with the barriers that you can put up. But also know that love is the key factor that can help you connect and help you feel connected. So know you can get hurt, and you will get hurt. You will get hurt multiple times in your life, over and over again. But know the other side of that, that's the fear part, that's your human part. Know that the other side is actually the love connection and being connected to other people. And that's what pulls you out of that pain, pulls you out of the suffering, pulls you out of the hurt, is love. So, yes, you will get hurt, but the other side is the love. And so the next part of this is you will have these barriers, you will have these walls, and there's no pressure to let them go. they will fall away naturally. They will fall away as you trust yourself more, as you trust others more. And a huge part is trusting yourself and having the capabilities, having the tools in your toolbox to know that you're going to be okay. If you break up, if a relationship fails, know you're going to be okay. It's hard though, I know. It's hard when you say you've been with someone for 20 years and that's what you know, and you love them and you want to be with them, and the relationship falls to the wayside, the relationship ends. It's not a failure. The relationship has served its purpose. You were able to love, and you will love again. And you will love deeply again. And you will be okay. It takes time. It takes patience. And it takes coming back and grounding yourself, coming back to yourself. And it happens over and over again. And these things can happen in a relationship too, where you have a relationship and parts of it will end. What way you were once in that relationship, you may not be again. It may shift, it will change, things will evolve. So there is that avenue as well. But love is always worth it. So know that things can change. Know that walls and boundaries happen, and that's okay. They will fall away naturally as long as you keep love, as long as you come back to love. Come back to yourself and come back to the love within yourself. Remind yourself you are love. Thank you for watching, for sharing, for commenting, and for all the love, for sharing it. I look forward to the next lesson. Until then, peace, love, and hugs. Bye-bye.